Good evening. Thanks for joining me this Sunday on 7Edition. I'm Helena Krishnamurthy and these are tonight's top stories. PM to create history as first world leader to speak at Oxford Union and Cambridge Union forums. Four, including young girl, killed in lorry car mishap. And Hong Kong protesters march once again over extradition bill. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. 4 people, including a child, were killed in a mishap involving 2 lorries and a car in Jalan Kuari, Bukit Mendi, Felda Bukit Mendi in Bera near Kuantan, Pahang today. State Fire and Rescue Department Deputy Director Muhammad Sani Harul said the accident took place at 1:35 p.m. and all the victims were from the car a Perodua Viva. State Fire and Rescue Department Deputy Director Muhammad Sani Harul said all the victims were from a car, a Perodua Viva. He added in a statement the deceased comprised an adult man, 2 women and a child. He also said that one of the lorry drivers was injured and sent to the Bukit Mendi Health Clinic while the other was unhurt. A team of firemen and a fire engine from the Triang Fire and Rescue Station rushed to the scene after they were alerted on the incident and extricated the bodies of all the victims who were trapped in the car. It was understood that the Viva travelling from the Felda had ploughed into one of the heavy vehicles on the opposite lane while the other lorry turned over and fell on its side at the scene of the crash. The bodies of all the victims were then sent to Sultan Ahmad Shah Hospital for post-mortem. In Johor, a Singaporean man was decapitated when his BMW motorcycle was involved in a freak accident with a van at Jalan Gelang Patah, Iskandar Puteri this morning. District Police Chief ACP Zulkhairi Mukhtar said the 43-year-old motorcyclist was heading to Ulu Cho from Gelang Patah when he crashed into the Toyota Hiace driven by a local man at 9:33 a.m. Initial investigation revealed the van was turning right when the victim, coming fast from the opposite direction, slammed right into the vehicle, which severed the man's head. The victim's remains were taken to the Sultanah Aminah Hospital for post-mortem, while 28-year-old van driver was not injured. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Police are expected to bring out 4 more bodies of orang asli from the Batik tribe in Gua Musang, Kelantan that were found in the search operation codenamed Ops Batik today. State Police Chief Datuk Hasanuddin Hassan said a forensics team aided by 12 orang asli men will enter the jungle area for the recovery operation, which is expected to be completed by this evening if the weather is fine. Speaking to reporters in Kota Baru today, Datuk Hasanuddin said the journey to the location of the 4 bodies will take 4 or 5 hours. He added the journey time can be reduced by half via boat, but things may turn difficult if it rains.
Tim forensik itu akan masuk hari ini, walau bagaimanapun bergantung pada keadaan cuaca. Andai kata kalau cuaca hujan lebat dan sebagainya yang boleh menimbulkan risiko kepada tim yang nak laksanakan tugas itu, mungkin kita akan KIV. Namun begitu, kalau dalam keadaan cuaca yang elok dan sebagainya, kita akan teruskan seperti mana yang sebelum ini.
Besides weather and distance, Datuk Hasanuddin stated that the operation to bring out bodies also will take into account the Batik tribe's customs and cannot be taken out just like that. Police also will record statements from family members of the victims after all the bodies were brought out. Kampung Kuala Ko's status as a red zone or restricted area would also remain until further notice. A crisis has hit the Batik people in the village, whereby within a space of a month, 14 people from the village died of mysterious circumstance. The cause of the deaths have yet to be ascertained, but a pneumonia outbreak was suspected as the victims were reported to be suffering from breathing difficulties. Elsewhere in Terengganu, another orang asli was found to have been admitted to the Hulu Terengganu Hospital for coughs and breathing difficulties. This brings the total of orang asli patients undergoing medical treatment at the hospital for similar symptoms to 9 people. State Health Director Dr. Muhammad Juso said the 26-year-old man from Kampung Sungai Berua in Hulu Terengganu was admitted to the hospital last Friday. He also said the illness suffered by these patients is believed to be linked to the health crisis at Kampung Kuala Koh in Gua Musang, Kelantan. Some of the patients interviewed by the hospital revealed that they had gone to the Batik tribe village several times recently to visit their relatives.
Walaupun begitu, kes yang dimasukkan ini telah mengalami demam lebih kurang 2 minggu. Cuma tanda-tanda batuk ini telah berlaku dalam 3 hari lepas. Sebab itulah dia sendiri telah datang ke hospital untuk mendapatkan rawatan.
Dr. Muhammad added all 9 orang asli patients were placed in a ward separate from others to avoid contagion. He further stated that all of them are reported to be in stable condition. Moving on to the sex video scandal allegedly involving a cabinet minister, Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali said he's prepared to give his statement to the police tomorrow or any time deemed convenient. The PKR Deputy President also gave assurance that he would give full cooperation to the police in their investigation into the case. Datuk Sri Azmin was speaking to reporters on the matter after attending the Gombak Setia constituency's Aidilfitri Do in Kuala Lumpur today.
Well, I can't dictate when they should contact me, but certainly, as I mentioned yesterday, I will give my full cooperation to the authorities. And I was informed by my office that they have contacted me, but I'm traveling to Penang today. But certainly, I'm available tomorrow or any time that is convenient to the authorities.
Will you go to the police station or would you expect them to come to you?
Well, they have to decide. The process is not mine. Okay?
Commenting further, Datuk Sri Azmin also said the PKR disciplinary board needs to investigate the culprit who masterminded the viral spread of the sex video, which had implicated the minister. He added if PKR wants to stay relevant and accepted by the people, the party leadership must be bold to do something about the case.
I leave it to you to decide and to interpret. But certainly this is something that is alarming, that the leadership must take a bold decision to investigate. I was told that even the circulation is no longer based on the Facebook or Instagram because they want to avoid the identification of the IP address, and they circulated through WhatsApp group. That was the report given to me, and this WhatsApp group contained all the contact numbers of the ketua-ketua cabang and also the lower rank of the office bearers at the cabang level. I don't have access to those information.
When asked on the move taken by several PKR leaders in giving their support to Santubong Youth Chief Haziq Abdullah Abdul Aziz, who was also linked to the sex video, Datuk Sri Azmin said party leadership should really look into the matter. In other news, a family of 3, including a 13-year-old teenage girl, was remanded for 5 days to facilitate police investigations into a child abuse case. Petaling Jaya Magistrates Court issued the remand order against all 3 suspects this morning following their arrest yesterday. The trio, who were arrested at a house in Puchong, Selangor, were accused of abusing 2 children, aged 7 and 8. Police said the arrests were made following a report lodged against the 33-year-old gas delivery man, his 30-year-old wife and their daughter. Investigations found both victims had been living with the family for the past 7 years after being abandoned by the divorced parents. Authorities added there were signs of abuse almost on every part of the victims' bodies, who were also believed to have suffered from malnutrition. Further inspection in the house revealed a baton, a silver fork and a rubber hose believed to have been used to torture the children. The case is being investigated under the Child Act, and both victims were taken to the Serdang Hospital for further examination as well as treatment. A A 7-feet-long crocodile was sighted at Sungai Renggam near Section 17 in Shah Alam, Selangor recently, causing worries among local residents. According to one of them, Hazwan Harun, the reptile has been there for quite a while and there may be 2 or 3 others. He also said this was not the first time the wild reptiles, some small, while others are huge, were seen cruising in the river. He added the residents are worried for the safety of their families, given the short distance of some 300 meters between the river and the neighborhood. The presence of the crocodiles also poses a threat to children who use the road near the river as the main route to school. Due to this, the local community is calling on the authorities, especially the Shah Alam City Hall, to take action and transfer the animals to a more appropriate location. When we return, netizens face palm as driver parks at perplexing spot. Details next. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad is probably the only world leader given the honour to speak at both the Oxford Union and Cambridge Union forums in London tonight. Despite pressures and protests from pro-Jew groups, the Premier had said that he will continue to raise issues that may be frowned by others. And he would take the opportunity during his talk entitled Democracy in Malaysia and Southeast Asia to speak his mind on these issues. Tun Dr. Mahathir arrived in London on Friday for a 3-day visit to the UK, accompanied by his wife, Tun Dr. Siti Hasma Muhammad Ali, Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, and Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman. Speaking to reporters, the Premier said he was invited to deliver the talk at Cambridge Union without any specific topics or themes.
Mereka jemput saya untuk buat bagi ucapan tajuk tak ditentukan. Saya boleh bercakap berkenaan dengan apa saja. Saya biasanya memilih subjek-subjek yang pada saya perlu disuarakan. Walaupun subjek itu tidak disenangi oleh mereka yang hadir.
The Cambridge Union's decision to invite Tun Dr. Mahathir is said to have courted controversies, as some quarters were against the ideas and views brought forward by the Premier. It is learned that several groups are planning to stage a protest ahead of the Cambridge Union Forum, including LGBT activists. When Tun Dr. Mahathir addressed Oxford Union in January this year, he gave his strong views against Israel, brushing aside accusations of anti-Semitism and defending his past record during his previous term, when he led the country for 22 years. Now let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Finding the perfect parking spot is the bane of every driver's existence. But sometimes the desire for the closest spot can put others at risk. For instance, parking in front of a fire hydrant is a big no-no, as it impedes efforts by firefighters when responding to an emergency. But this recent case was just downright disgraceful. Firemen in Sabak Bernam, Selangor were left perplexed by the stupidity of one driver who parked her car in front of the fire station's entrance, just as the team was about to rush off for a rescue mission. According to a Facebook post from Info Roadblock JPJ Police, the firemen were forced to put their tools down and together tried to push the vehicle out of the way. The car didn't budge at all, but the owner of the car arrived at the scene just a few moments later and moved the vehicle to a different spot. Now, in the post, it said that the firefighters involved were responding to a call of a fatal accident which happened nearby. They were delayed from arriving at the location much earlier due to the inconsiderate driver. Netizens were quick to comment on the post, which has gained nearly 120,000 views since its upload. One Facebook user said it made him facepalm hard at how the owner simply parked a car in front of the fire station without any afterthought. Another user angrily suggested that the fire engine should just drive out and ram into the car and have the police issue a fine that includes the cost of repair for damages on the fire engine. Well, from this story, let's all remember the basics taught in driving class to always ensure that you do not park at any illegal spot. After its first debut back in 2006, the Mitsubishi Triton returned early this year with a whole new and tougher look. Now we know this pickup truck is meant for off-road, but how well can it perform in the busy city centre of Kuala Lumpur? Sabrina Zainal took the 2019 Triton for a ride to find out.
The new Triton continues with the latest rendering of the brand's dynamic shield design language. It has more sculpted and edgier lines, particularly on the face. The bolder headlamp design and bumper elements give the truck a tough appearance while adding visual width. Now, the 2019 Triton is powered by a 2.4-liter MyVac turbo diesel engine, which outputs 181 PS and 430 Newton-meters of torque. Now, apart from the facelift, which is not really a facelift at all because it's a completely new vehicle, it's higher, it's wider, so the chassis is different. Apart from the new look, it has a 6-speed automatic transmission, which is different from the previous one, which was 5-speed automatic transmission. Now it also comes in 4 drive modes, which are 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive LC, and 4-wheel drive LLC. Right, so far, going through the curves and the bends, it's pretty easy to handle, so that's a good thing. Because I mean, I would think that a person my size and who doesn't have a lot of upper body strength, it would be harder to navigate, to maneuver around. But actually, it's very responsive. The steering is very responsive, so I'm actually quite happy with this car right now. In terms of safety features, 2 airbags, fabric seats, and driver's seat belt reminder are also standard kit except for the top Adventure X variant. Driver assistance systems include forward collision mitigation, which can detect vehicles and pedestrians ahead, and blind spot warning with lane change assist, which helps avoid colliding with another vehicle when changing lanes. Additionally, there is the ultrasonic misacceleration mitigation system, which helps reduce accidents resulting from unintended acceleration either forwards or backwards, as well as auto high beam, which uses a camera to detect oncoming vehicles and automatically switch the headlamps to low beam so as to not dazzle other drivers. So we've taken a trip to the center of KL, and we've tried out how this car handles in busy streets and tight streets. So I think it's only fair that we take it off-road and to really see its capabilities and see how well it does to, for what it's built for. Okay, so I've already put my drive mode to 4-wheel drive. Okay, now we're going to go uphill first. Whoa. Okay, so the icon for the hill descent control is blinking now, and wow, oh my god, it's braking for me. I'm not putting my foot on the brake pedal at all, so it really helps. Whoops. Wow, it's so useful. It's so great. And the steepness isn't that steep actually, but it still detects that you're going downhill, and it will put on that, it will activate the brake for you. Based on my test drive, apart from the tough new looks, the 2019 Triton also brings enhancements to the durability, reliability, and comfort. Sabrina Zainal for 7Edition.
Coming up next, Colombia gets a head start in 2019 Copa America. Stay with us. We're back with foreign news. A day after the Hong Kong leader announced the suspension of the extradition bill, protesters are demanding more as they gear up for another round protest on Sunday. Demonstrators are urging for a full retraction of the legislation, as well as the resignation of embattled leader Carrie Lam. This comes amid fears authorities could resume efforts to pass the proposed law if public anger dimmed. Tens of thousands marched from Victoria Park as the public showed their anger at the unprecedented previous clashes between protesters and police forces. Chants to scrap the evil law could be heard as demonstrators marched through the streets to the city's parliament.
琴日有個年青人跳咗落嚟死咗，好傷心啊！喺呢個過程裏邊真係好難過。即係我覺得點解我哋要用年青人要用呢一個方法嚟到去抗爭，但係都得唔到結果。我覺得林鄭應該要反省，佢應該要落台。
所以我哋要俾小朋友知道是與非。香港嘅學生和平出嚟表達佢嘅意見，雖然係有少少衝動，但係警察都唔應該用呢個橡膠子彈、催淚彈、豆袋彈嚟對付啲學生嘅。
The concession from Lam was swiftly rejected by protest leaders who called on her to resign, permanently shelve the bill and apologize for police tactics. Just yesterday, the chief executive called for the suspension of the bill, saying that her team had misjudged the public mood and that she will gather opinions from the people to eventually make the decision. Recycling is considered one of the best ways to reduce trash. For most of parts of the world, the idea of recycling is basically sorting rubbish into three categories, namely paper, plastic, or glass. However, for the western town of Kamikatsu located in Katsura district, Tokushima prefecture in Japan, it's not that simple. This as the people there recycle all their waste, which are sorted into 45 different categories. The initiative is in line with the town's aim to achieve zero waste by the year 2020. The different categories of garbage ranges from pillows to toothbrushes. By recycling all their waste, the town intends to send nothing to the incinerators by next year. Kamikatsu previously was ordered to shut down one of their incinerators because it no longer meets the new, stricter emission standards, leaving the town with only one incinerator. The residents also needed to transport their trash to a local facility themselves, as there is no trash collection service. As the single incinerator is unable to handle the entire town's waste, residents decided to recycle instead, as it was cheaper. Now, the town is close to achieving their goal, recycling about 80% of the 286 tons of waste it produced last year, far more than the national average of 20%. Their efforts should certainly be an example to countries worldwide, especially Malaysia. Onto the 2019 Copa America, Colombia enjoyed a head start in the tournament as they beat Argentina in their opening match in Salvador, Brazil on Sunday. This marks Argentina's first ever loss in a Copa opener. Following the match, Colombia fans gathered outside the stadium dancing and chanting in joy as they celebrate their team's victory. The result holds particular importance as Colombia and Argentina will presumably be the two teams battling to make it out of their group, shared with Paraguay and Qatar. During the entire first half of the game, both teams proved to be a tough nut to crack as both sides did not score any goals. Colombian goalkeeper David Ospina managed to fend off several goals despite getting caught offline once. However, in the second half, Colombians counter-attacked as Roger Martinez struck the ball into the net on the 71st minute. Striker Duvan Zapata then extended the lead by scoring another goal 15 minutes later. Argentina was unable to make a comeback as the match ended in the defeat. Real Madrid's captain Sergio Ramos married Spanish TV presenter 41-year-old Pilar Rubio at Seville's famous 16th century cathedral on Saturday. The rich and famous, including former Real player David Beckham and his wife Victoria, were among the 400 guests who attended the small Galactico wedding. We wrap up 7Edition with footage of the football star's special day. I'm Helena Krishnamurthy. Thanks for watching and have a good week ahead.